Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rebecca Kisedu, aka Mrs. Kiss. If you are here with us, welcome back. I'm excited this week and for the coming weeks because I've received a lot of feedback from young people or unmarried people about different questions, and also the most popular among those questions is, how do you know he or she is the one?
Mrs. Kiss, how do I know he's the one?
Miss Kiss, quick question. How do I know she's the one?
So, Mrs. Kiss, how do I know he's the one?
So I have decided to put all these questions into a series that I call How Do You Know series. This coming weeks are going to be exciting because I get to have special guests with me who answer these questions with me every Monday when I come on here. And so if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please comment, please share this video. Let's reach out, let's learn something new. You know, there are so many things we can learn from each other, and make sure that you follow us. And especially on Instagram, I'll be coming on Instagram Live on Thursday night at 9 p.m. And you can follow me on Mrs. Kiss on Instagram. So please, I'll leave it below here. Make sure you check the information below. And I'm excited, especially for these guests that I have here with me. Stay tuned. Okay, surprise! I do have with me Mr. and Mrs. Aboagye. This is Dr. Derek Aboagye, and this is Mrs. Belinda Aboagye. Dr. Derek is the founder and president of Image Inc., which is a health organization that reaches out to African communities and other places with global health empowerment. And Mrs. Belinda Aboagye has an MBA and a certified financial counselor and works with a renowned financial institution here in America. So I'm excited to have them here. They are dear friends of mine, and I want to welcome you both here.
Thank you.
To Mrs. Kiss Kasa. Today is all going to be Kasa. Kasa says so cry. Okay, so I'll just go straight to the point. With our how-to series. Basically, we're going to talk about how you two met, and I'll follow up with other questions that I have. So I'll start with you, Dr. Derek. Dr.
I thought it
Hafko.
was going to be ladies first. Like, I don't
Ladies first, okay. Well, how do you guys meet? I'll just throw it out to you.
It started with you, right? So you start.
Well,
Yeah.
I've known Belinda prior to us meeting physically. I've known Belinda's family for a
Seen
while.
me. You didn't know me.
Well, I've known your family for
Yeah.
a while. And actually, Belinda's older brother is my classmate and a very good friend when we were in high school
Okay.
back in Ghana.
Okay.
But fast forward, Liberty, some years ago.
Liberty University.
Liberty University. That's
Okay.
where we actually first met. And I was driving in the neighborhood in school, and I saw, as they say, a beautiful flower. So I had interest in that. So, I think my initial approach was, was a party that we had, and I actually went in and said, I'd like to be a very good friend. And that's
Did you just say that word? I'd like to be your very good friend.
Well, she might actually come up with a different story to this, but at that particular time at the party, my initial approach was, hey, how are you? My name is Derek, and what is your name?
Okay.
I think it ended that way, but she might tell a different story, but that's just...
Okay, so you met on campus,
Right.
Liberty University, and you approached her at a party. And what was your response?
To the approach.
What was the approach, by the way? Because sometimes it might be different.
I don't know how he remembers the story, but what I remember is he asked his little brother to come ask me to come to him.
Okay.
So he didn't come to me directly. And then I said, well, it's a party. I don't know anyone here. So I went over to where he was sitting, and he didn't say a word, nothing. So I just got back up and went to my friends and continued dancing with us.
Oh, so the little brother came to call you.
The little brother said, "Hey,
And you two
my
followed.
Brother, yeah, because it was his house. It was a house party, so it was at his house.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And his brother said, "Oh, my brother wants to say hi to you or talk to you, whatever." So I said, "Okay." So I walked over there, and he didn't say. I don't know if he was dumbfounded. I don't know. Maybe they cut his tongue. I don't know what happened.
There are
He
two
didn't
sides
say
to the
anything.
story.
I don't remember. I don't
That's all
remember
I
him
can say.
saying anything to me that day.
Okay, so there was nothing. You know, you guys met at the party. That's where you first laid eyes on Belinda.
He saw me on campus.
I
That's
had
where he
seen
first
her
saw me.
Oh, and then you
I had no
invited.
idea who he was.
Okay.
To the party, yeah.
So who invited who to the party? If you just saw her.
A
Well,
mutual friend.
yeah.
So I was there with a mutual friend who he
That
invited
I
to the
know.
party.
I knew her.
Oh,
friends.
okay.
So I invited her, and then she brought Belinda.
Okay, all right. So, you know, I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of young ladies and young men, and the concern is, or the dilemma, the challenge that they're going through now is, how do I know this person is the one? So, how did you know? I'll start from you, Doctor. How did you know that Belinda was the one? Fast forward after, you know, the party and everything.
Okay. I think it would be best if I kind of put a little detail into
Sure,
our
absolutely.
relationship prior to getting to know that she's the one. Obviously, I had interest in her from the beginning, so I went with that approach after the first meeting.
Okay,
you
so
know.
I'll interject. Why did you have interest? Was it beauty? Were you attracted by beauty, or just to
Look at the list.
just to chop? You know, because you know, if you're in college, were
Right,
you
yeah.
like looking to chop, or
Right,
you were
right.
looking, you saw something more, or it's just like she's beautiful, or you wanted to put her as part of your history? You know, like
Honestly,
Conquered.
at that moment in my life, it was a little bit of all, but it wasn't with intent to be together as a couple or anything. It was at the moment, oh, you know, it'd be nice to have her as my girlfriend, but with no future plans added to it.
Okay.
At that moment when I said, you know, I kind of have an interest. So obviously, to answer your question, the beauty was part of it that made me have an interest into
In her.
in her.
in her.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
you went into it just because it was a girlfriend thing, you know, somebody that can hang
Pretty
down
much,
and kind of
yeah.
put some mileage on it and see
Pretty
how
much,
things.
you know, I mean, I was doing my thing back then, so
You
we
know.
wanted to add her to the list of, you know,
Conquered.
people that I had prayed for.
So you know what, guys, I want to tell you, and ladies, you know, I'm sure Doctor wouldn't be shy about sharing that part, that sometimes you have to be sure. That is why we ask that you are prayerful and careful about when people pursue you or share their interest in you, because you know somebody might just, and he's just being honest about it, just to come in and pray and also make you, in fact, simple and short, chop. You just wanted to chop that thing. That's all. Okay. So, but let's see how it went after you
Yeah.
pursued. Were you able to chop?
Well, I wasn't, and she actually rejected me in the first go. When I went in and I said, hey, you know what, I would like to go out with you. In the initial, I think that was my very first approach.
Right.
And she's like, no. She pretty much looked at me like, who do you think you are? You know, kind of thing. But I was like, you know what? Prior to, like, my background was, if I go in, first instance, you don't give me any good vibe, I'm off. I'm going to the next.
Yes.
You know, but for one, I don't know what particular reason, but for her, after she had rejected me, I was like, you know what? How about the friend that you want to be? Why don't I stay there to be the friend?
Okay.
So then, suddenly, my perspective changed.
Okay.
Now, my intentions was not going in to, you know, quote unquote chop. But it was like, you know, I really want to get to know this person. But let me correct something here though. During our friendship, during the initial stages, that's when I realized that it's my brother's friend.
Okay.
So I think that played part on me being there because her brother was a very good friend. So now I'm like, I can't just, because I got rejected, now I'm going to withdraw.
Okay.
Now I'm going to be there for her.
You had
And
a
then I got
nice
to know her.
interest.
Absolutely, yeah.
in,
Mhm. So my perception changed,
Okay.
or perspective, or whatever it's changed.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Belinda, I'll ask you, when after the party and then, you know, friendship was starting to develop, did you have an idea that this person or Derek was trying to come in to chop, or, you know, did you think that's where did you have your guards on?
Oh yeah, on from the first thing, you know, at a party and someone calls out, "Hey, let me handle it." You know what it's going to be about. So from the get go, I knew this is what he wants from me. I'm not
Right.
gonna give in to that. And he knows this. He was at that point in my life. He wasn't the only one that was pursuing me.
Okay.
There were a lot of guys. So I already kind of had that in the back that if any guy approaches me at that point in my life, I'm not a rich girl. I don't have anything. What else do they want from me?
Yeah, be though.
Oh no. What else? Like me? This is me. What else do they want from me? Like you said, it's the physical. They want something physical from me.
Right.
So that's the mentality I went in with. Anyone.
And this was college freshman
yeah, freshman. I was a freshman.
I forgot. I didn't know that.
I was a freshman.
Okay, so you were fairly young.
Yeah.
You know, at that time.
Yeah.
And so you knew that you had nothing to give except for body.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Okay. So, how was your response to him during the friendship level? Knowing that, boys at that stage usually come to, chop or for other different reasons.
So after I didn't turn you down harshly like you made it sound. I turned it down nicely. I said, because after the
didn't
party.
approve my request.
After the party, a friend of mine invited him to a campus ministry, which I was involved with.
Okay.
So
That's
I saw
right?
Pensa, yeah.
Okay.
So I saw him there a couple of times. And then he said, I really want to get to know you. After that first, I want you to be my girlfriend. I really want to get to know you.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I could do it a friend. And he also approached me, needed help. I was a tutor for a computer class. So he's like, oh, I need help with this thing. You can I heard you tutor people. So I need help formatting the page.
That was part of my plan.
So you weren't like you're illiterate.
It's
computer
Microsoft Word.
So
I was like, what, third year or second year?
I think third year.
It was part of my plan.
So ladies and gentlemen, you have to be careful. When a junior comes to a freshman for tutoring on computer science, you have to know there are sometimes that people may just ask you for some help that you know very well that they already got their help already. Yeah. But let's just say that Derek was computer illiterate. We'll follow up with the story. Yeah. So your response to that approach of tutoring is where we left off. Like so you started tutoring him on computer Microsoft Word. I hope you got it.
I did. I'm good now.
Yeah.
So how long were you friends for before you got to where things became serious? I'll ask you this.
I would say it was over a year. A little over a year, about a year and a half.
Then you knew who knew first?
He always knew. Like I said, he always was around reminding me, I want to be more than just a friend. I want to be more than just a friend. And I was like, well, hold your horses.
Be persistent.
Hold your
You
horses.
have to hold on. Okay, so you have to be persistent. If you're learning to pursue somebody, I think this is more favorable for the guys. Be persistent. I think ladies too can be persistent. Hey, if you really believe that he's the one, stick around. And how did you do that? Because Derek was persistent. How did you also, in a way, be persistent? Because you were available, sort of. Not available in that sense, but you were okay. You were around.
I was okay with the simple fact that we agreed to be friends.
Okay.
And he proved to be a good friend.
Okay.
Like, when I say friend, he was a friend.
Okay.
He was there, and a lot of people were questioning. You know how the Ghanaian community, like, hey, there's something going on between
I think
these
it's
two.
people, not just Ghanaian.
Everyone was like, there's something going on because they didn't understand our relationship.
Okay.
It wasn't, we were not dating, we were friends.
Okay. For a year, you said?
For over a year. Yeah,
over
a
year.
year.
Okay.
And,
so what do you mean by friends? During that time, what were you doing as friends? Because, most of our viewers, they want to know what you did. And you were believers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Derek, had you claimed Jesus as your Lord and Savior there? Because you said you wanted to chop before, so I don't know if so you have to clarify.
My life, I grew up in a Christian home, obviously.
Right.
And I have accepted Jesus as my Lord and personal Savior.
Right.
Coming to America, things have changed a little bit.
Okay.
I lived in the Bronx, and then I moved to Lynchburg. I don't know how to put it. I lived my life. I was okay. I was
So you didn't go to
comfortable.
church?
So you were wayward.
A little bit. Yeah.
But we
If
have
that's
to
how
make
you want
it
to put
clear.
it. I
You
mean,
have to make it clear.
I would pray. I wasn't consistent with going to church.
Okay.
But I was still consistent with my prayers and everything.
Okay, but to say that because it's a believer, it's a true Christian, then you would not entertain or you would not go in for just the body. That's why I wanted to make sure that
Absolutely.
at that time you were not in that level of faith that you are in right
I
now,
wasn't,
or
yes.
you would encourage a young believer to
Yes,
assume
absolutely.
that posture.
Absolutely.
So, but let's move forward. That you guys were at least at that point engaged in campus ministry, and so your friendship was like, well, give me a ride, come pick me up, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that kind of thing.
I
'Cause
kind of figured.
he had a car, and actually, he had, and you know the funny thing, the mutual, our friend, I never really called you for a ride or anything, because I was always with a friend on campus.
Right.
And so she would say, oh, I need this, let me call Derek.
Right.
And then she would call Derek and I'll be with her, and so I'll just tag along.
Let me say this. So when at that moment of the friendship, I honestly truly enjoyed Belinda's company. You know, for some reason, my mindset changed from the whole, trying to have something to do with her. I mean, as in, and it got into, I really enjoy her company. I really enjoy talking to her. She talks to me. And for me to be involved, really involved, because she was the vice president for Kasa at that moment. And that really attracted me. She's with God. She does that. She advises me. At a certain point, she would say, Derek, I don't think, going this route is good. I don't think going to this part is good. Even though sometimes, I was sneaking and go. But it got to a point I said, you know what? I really enjoyed this lady's company. So I think that's more of how we stuck together.
I think this is, I like that point, talking about Belinda, that as believers, we need to keep our identity as Christians, no matter who that person that you are interested in is. You need to stand your ground. And that is very, there's a testament that when Belinda stood to her grounds and with her Christian faith, that Derek stood, lingered for that, and that kind of served as an attraction. So during that time, friendship and everything, at what point did you know, this is like what, a year and a half now into this friendship and ride, and we have to give a shout out to that friend that was calling for ride for you.
I know,
What's
right?
her name?
Amma.
Yeah,
So
Amma, shout
we're
out
the
to
only
you.
two Ghanaians in our hall. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So shout out to you for doing that. So at what point did you move it up to the friendship? Because at this point, I know that you said that Derek was still interested. So at what point did you like?
So I think the ball was in my court now.
Yes.
Like I was controlling the situation.
Are you still controlling the situation now?
Yeah, she's still the boss, unfortunately.
Yeah. So the interesting, like he said, we were very comfortable around each other. I could tell him stuff. And then I mentioned earlier, he knew there were a lot of guys that were pursuing me at that time.
Right.
So he would also say, hey, this guy, hey, you again, this one likes you. A lot of people even in Lynchburg were still asking me out whilst he was around as a friend.
Right.
So we were comfortable. He would share things with me, the not so good, the bad, ugly stuff that he was doing. He was
the bad and
comfortable
the ugly.
showing me that side of him, and then I was also
Absolutely.
sharing with him. And then one thing that he did that I don't know, I don't know who told him to do, but he invited me over to his sister's house, and his mom was visiting at that time. So basically, he introduced me to his family as his friend, and I was with my friend as well. So it wasn't just me singled out. We went to, and they welcomed me. I don't know what they were thinking,
My
but
family's very welcome.
yeah, they welcomed me. They were so happy. And so anytime he was going to see his sister, he said, you want to come along? Because his sister cooks. Of course,
As a college student.
I was like,
Shout
I'm
out
not
to
turning down food. I'll follow him. So I was comfortable with him. I was comfortable with his family. Everything was great. And it was one particular night, I think you had come from a party again. And we started talking. And he asked me again, he's like, I know you said you're not ready for a relationship, you want to focus on your books or whatever, but, I really want us to move this friendship further, because I don't see myself being your friend forever.
Right.
I want to graduate to a different level. So I said, you know what?
You don't want to be BFF.
He was surprised. I said, you know what? Okay, let's give it a try. And then I think we laid down some rules.
Bingo.
I'm like, don't act funny. Don't do this. You can't do that. You know the ground rules. But let's give it a try.
Okay, so Belinda laid down rules. Ladies, you
And-
have to
and-
lay
by the
down
way,
rules.
I'm sorry, that was May 28th, 2007. Just
May 28th.
2007.
So anniversary, what?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Then that
I
would
just
have
wanted
been.
to put out there.
Okay, well, congratulations. You guys made it through. Hey, Charlie, you made it.
Sure did.
That's an awesome thing. So you have to set ground rules, like Mrs. Aboagye said. I know that can be questionable, but you need to be able to have a common ground. And you guys said that you agreed. I think, and I'm just guessing, I feel like Belinda probably wrote the rules for this. Because if you know Derek, you don't say he's easygoing and he's very, so Belinda probably, okay, let me ask, who set the ground rules and who was the proposition?
I think
for
most
this?
of it was from me. Most of it was from me.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Most of it was
And
from me.
did you think that it was, good, or you thought that, because some people would say that they call them activist women. I've heard a lot about that because my brother is single, and so they go on and on about this activist. So they might probably at that point, if you express it to single men right now, that the girl set a ground rule that they would think that you're activist women in the sense that you're gonna be bossy and things like that.
And it wasn't like that. It was basically to set the expectation that
For that
if you're
relationship.
expecting us to do certain things, then that's not what I'm here for.
Okay. What did you think about that? That Belinda set those rules.
With honest truth is initially I thought it was a little, okay.
A little what?
Well, I thought it was a little, why can't we? I don't have a specific word for it, but it's more like, why can't we do this? I mean, we're dating,
Oh,
why
so
can't
what's like boundaries and
right,
stuff.
pretty much. Those were the set rules that were put in place. So my take was, in the initial stages, because we dated for 4 years. And initial stages, it was like, man, I've dated before, we were a little cordial, but yours is like, we're dating and by
I used to call him brother in Christ.
exactly,
He hated that. I say, hey, my brother in Christ. Like, I'm not your brother.
but like I was saying, initially I thought it was a little, but as we were growing in the relationship, not friendship, now we're in the relationship zone, I understood, what, it's more of me respecting her
Right.
opinion. Left me alone, I would have gone another way, but with prayers and respecting her opinion, we just stuck with it.
What was one of the ground rules? I just want to know. One
No
ground rule
sex.
from you. Okay, no sex.
No sex.
What was another ground rule?
Was that a rule from you?
No, we're from
No, that you
Yeah.
guys set that for yourself. So
Yeah. Mhm.
no sex and no sex for when? Because you guys obviously have children now. So
No, but that was the
No,
dating
at that
process.
point, yeah.
no sex during dating.
Yeah, the dating process for 4 years.
Okay, so your first sexual encounter was
When?
your honeymoon.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm drinking that.
Ah!
Go on now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So at this point, please don't enjoy yourself because you've already you
I
have
know,
two
right?
children
Oh, now
already.
we've explored.
All
We're still
right.
exploring, by the way.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Really?
We are.
All right. So what was another one? Was first one was no sex. Second one, I just want two.
Well, what did we say? We had goals. I tried to push him to pursue his goals because we met on campus, and I think for him, he's like, let me get my bachelor's and just stop there. But from talking to him, building that relationship, I saw that he had more. There was
Right.
potential, but he just kind of wanted to give up. So I said, I want to pursue education. So
Right.
make sure you are not stopping. I
Okay.
need you to move on with me.
So I think this is very, very good. It comes down to supporting that person. Whoever that you're talking to, sometimes not all about the sex and the gourmet and the feeling. You have to make sure that you know what their end goal is and what their purposes are, so you can support. And sometimes it's the potential is there, like she was saying, but you just have to have that person that pushes you that notch to cross
Absolutely.
over to achieve that level. Okay, so we move on to the real deal. How did you know that Belinda was the one? I'll come to you, doctor. How did you know at that point? Because now you're in a relationship for some time, everything. I know that you liked her and several things have gone on.
Yeah.
But when did you know that, you know what, I want to marry this girl. I want her to be my wife. She's
Right.
the only person. And I'm sure you've dated other people.
Right,
What
right.
made you feel that confident about her? Or you didn't feel it? Or
No,
if
I
you were
did.
forced to?
I was absolutely not. I was
Okay.
absolutely not. I mean, I don't know if you know about, seen her father before. She's a tall guy, but I was brave enough to tell her I want her daughter's hand in marriage.
Oh,
And
did you?
That's one of my proudest moments,
How did
But
you
by the
do
way,
that?
Well, I spoke with the mother. I had a very good relationship with the family, by the way,
Right.
during our dating process, and they welcomed me just as my family welcomed
That's beautiful.
him. So in the friendship zone, the father comes and we talk about different things, and I suppose they had an idea that these two guys have something going on.
Right.
But when I decided that I want to take this bold step I had spoken to the mother first and made my intention known to her. And she was very welcoming. And she said, you know what? The main person, well, traditionally in Ghana, you know, the main person that has to say yes, go ahead and bring the dairy and other stuff to be the father. So you have to go for it. I can't say it for you.
Right.
But we're going to have to get a setup. I'm going to be there. He's going to be there. And you have to let it know. And whatever he has to say, he will let it. And then,
So let me take you back. How did you know before that point?
How did I
How
know?
did you come to that decision that
this
I'm
is
ready?
the person.
Yeah.
Well, Belinda's relationship was the longest I've had, which was the 4 years.
you have a
So the
sustaining
1.5
anointing.
years,
And
like
very-
5.5 years old, right?
Well,
You said 4 years. I said even before that.
even
The
before
first
that,
year before, yeah.
from my dating in Ghana to coming here, she's the longest I had. And don't get me wrong,
The sustaining anointing.
I dated great people, you know, people that we had future, but God knows best. So whatever happened that we broke up, that's already done.
Right.
But for Belinda, our friendship solidified something that did not want me to go anywhere.
Babe.
From
I
the
am
beginning.
a cartons.
So that 1 year of friendship made me stick around. And then we added the 4 years. So along the line, her persistence, you know, her zeal, things that she wanted to do for God, for even herself,
Right.
that pushed me. So I'd always want to be a pharmacist. And I wasn't in pharmacy school then when I was dating her, but she was on me, including, you know, my family and everything. But she told me, Derek, you can do it. Derek, you can do it. And I'm not afraid to say this here. Prior to me going to pharmacy school, I had a lot of rejection letters. You know, I apply for pharmacy school and I get rejected. And then anytime I get rejected, I go to her. Charlie, they've done it again. And then she told me, this is just one of them. You know, second one happens. Derek, this is just the second one. So she was always there to push me in a different level, you know. And as time,
Hallmark levels. This is virtuous woman.
as time
Proverbs
went on,
32.
as time went on, you know, when we got into the relationship, then I realized, you know what good does it make if I should break this relationship and go start something else somewhere?
Right.
I've already started something great.
Right.
What is the point for me to go to another person to get whatever it is?
Right.
Why don't I just find out a little, you know, much more than what this person is? And in order for me to do that, we have to be married. So to answer your question, why and how did I know that she was the one? It's because of how she's been there for me, catered for me.
So
In
it
that
wasn't
friendship
like one goal. It was a period of time.
No, it developed.
Right.
For me to eventually, like I said, it took 4 years. So for me to develop that, this is the person, it was along that line. And every bit of stage played part in me deciding that this is the one.
Okay. So for Belinda, what I got from you is you appreciated her support and her encouragement and her persistence, you know, pushing you. And probably you also mentioned that her belief system
Right.
and godliness, you
And
know.
of course, she was beautiful too. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, we that one day I testify.
And I
I'm a
always-
woman and I testify.
Always
She
got
is a
compliments.
beautiful lady.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm cute and everything, but the compliment was coming from, you know, hey, you gotta cherish yourself too. So.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask you though is, did you find, because you know when we ask the how do you know, we say all the positive things. Of course,
Right.
the positive things
Right.
are the ones that really make it clear to us.
Right.
Were there other weaknesses that you were concerned about?
Absolutely. Belinda is one person that it's hard to change her mind.
Okay.
It's hard to convince her to.
She's very focused.
She's very well. Yes, she's focused, but it's like, okay, Belinda, I actually don't think this road goes to Kanishi. Belinda is going to go to that road, and eventually might not go to Kanishi.
She's stubborn.
So she was stubborn.
Right.
She was very stubborn, but she stuck with her belief. She
Okay.
stuck whatever it is. It's a negative because I'm saying that because it's hard for her to listen to you, but eventually she'll come to you. But for the most part, she was right. I'll put that there. For
Okay,
the most part,
so
she-
that kind of helped out. Okay, so we'll take that. Sometimes it's not all about, you know, we are humans and there will be weaknesses, but how you deal or identifying that those weaknesses are part of even allowing yourself to settle with one person. So don't just go with just the positives, know the negatives so you can deal with that person also. And I'll come to you, Belinda. How did you know that he was the one at this point? Straight. How did you know?
How did I know? Well, like we've already been saying, he's proved himself several times. From the friendship level, in the relationship, everything. The family accepted me. But for me, it just felt right. It just felt right. And I'm going to say this again. There were a lot of guys around me. But for some reason, I felt his intention towards me was very genuine at that point. So it just felt right. Everything he did or said, whatever we did together, it just felt right being with him. And another thing too, I kept asking myself, does he really love me?
What did you mean by really?
Really, no, love, like we all know what the Bible says about love.
Right.
Is this that pure love that the Bible is talking about? When he says husbands should love their wife.
Right.
If you ask me then, does he love me? I'll say yes. That's what solidified it for me.
Okay.
There was no if. Like, it's not, oh, he loves me, but no.
Right.
I saw that he truly, truly loved me.
Okay.
And I feel like that's the missing part with girls today. Oh, this guy is cute. Oh, he loves me. But you know what? Sometimes he doesn't. I'm like, okay, why are you putting the but there?
Right.
If then it's not 100%.
Right.
He's not perfect, like we talked about, the negative stuff. But even through those negative things that I saw about him, I saw it was done through love.
Right.
His intentions were right, but it might have come out differently, and that's what So yeah,
you felt that.
I felt, and I still, I know I could stand and beat on my boast and say my husband really loves me.
Right.
I am not concerned about that. He's annoying. We all know how he is. Gets under my skin. But even through all of that, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
If there's somebody who loves you,
aside from God. And
my
parents and my family,
better.
I know. Especially someone that you choose. That's what I'm saying. We don't choose our family. We don't choose our people.
Yeah.
I chose him, and I know he loves me.
At least he loves you and wants your best interest.
What's my best? And then the reason why I bring out the love part is when the Bible says husbands should love their wife, it's a commandment for husbands.
Absolutely.
That makes it easy for the wife to also submit.
Right.
So through that, we are fulfilling our duties. As the Bible says, it makes it easier. I know he loves me.
Ladies, you have to make sure that he loves you.
And
you have to make sure it should feel right. And we will talk about that in our next episode. But I wanted to make sure what other weaknesses that kind of made you, because I know that you felt that he loved you. That's what you're saying. But what other things that made you feel like, I know he loves me, but golly, like made you stop? Did you ever stop before? Or it was just, oh, Derek loves me? Did you stop at some of his shortcomings and be like, okay?
There was a point where I think this was shortly before we decided to actually go for, so maybe in the 3-year mark, he was getting sidetracked. Derek is all over the place. I think we balance each other. I'm like, focus, we have the goal, let's work towards that goal. Right. He's like, oh yeah, we have the goal, but let's go here and let's go here first. And he started sidetracking, and it was affecting him big time.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be with someone that's gonna derail me from my, So there were those moments, but
how did you overcome that? Because I think that's the real thing that other ladies are looking up, and maybe they have this person, they have everything, but they have weaknesses that they don't know how to.
Prayer and time. That's why I feel like people should not
and time.
People should not skip the dating process. Okay. During that period, and he knows what I'm talking about. I gave him that space, that time. I'm like, go figure yourself out, because I don't want it to be like you are doing this for me. I want you to do it for yourself.
Right.
So figure yourself out, get yourself together, and then we can move on from that. So, and then a lot of prayer.
Okay. So that's even when you said that you were praying for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So don't just shove people off and say, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's lazy. She's this, and leave it there. This is a serious business. When you want to get married, you have to pray for your partner to be, you have to pray for your spouse. And I think that you guys still pray for each other. Yeah. Sometimes we ignore that, but you do have to pray for each other for continued success.
And can I just add this? After that whole period I'm talking about, when he came, back was when he's like, full force, we need to get married.
Okay.
You remember? He's like, yeah, let's get this ball rolling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It kind of worked.
It kind of
And
worked.
I didn't want to go back no more.
I don't want to go back. I'm tired. But you know, behind the scenes, Doctor told me that he knew Belinda was the one because she was rich. That she kept saying
Part of it.
that she kept
Well,
on
yeah,
rich
she's from
family.
a rich family. I mean, why would I let that go?
So she wanted to make sure that
I mean-
when he went there.
Except Mrs. Ofuri, I'm sorry, but y'all played a part.
Really?
All right, guys, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time, and I know that we'll follow up. You have to stick with me, Mrs. Kasa. Subscribe, share this video, comment, like, and then we will go into different. I have different surprises coming. You never know who's gonna be coming here, who's gonna be sitting with me. Stay with us, and I definitely want to thank you, Dr. and Mrs. Aboagye, for coming on here. God knows I appreciate that.
It's an honor.
Thank you so much for
Thanks for
sharing
having
your lives, and I probably will bring them back again. Please let me know what you think about them in the comment section. We'll be following with you. Thank you so much.
Subscribe.